Now, here's a interesting topic that was proposed to us on the Discord, in the debate night,
Mm.
Discord chat. It was from a user named Trigon. He said, potential debate night topic for this week. Player commitments to events need to be made more strict now that fans are having to pay for tickets to spectate. A number of players have pulled out of the Tallahassee Open in the past week, including Paul McBeth, Anthony Barella, and others. Paul particularly pulled out after ticket sales began. Outside of extenuating circumstances such as injury, family, etc., should the Pro Tour penalize players for pulling out previously made commitments? Monetary penalties are likely to be unfair in many situations, but perhaps a Pro Tour points penalty for missing a previously committed to event. This has been a long-running issue on the PGA Tour as well, and as far as I know, the PGA has done nothing to solve this either. So essentially he's saying people are buying tickets to watch a player and the player drops out. Is that an issue?
Ooh, that's a good one because I'm kind of actually on the fence right now whether or not I'm going to go to the Tallahassee Open. And obviously, from the player side, it's tough because I have seen lots of stuff on social media talking about excited to see me play in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
I think the tricky part with everything is there are so many players like myself that are very dependent on how they play will depend on what they do in the season. And there are other players that Eagle, for example, Eagle is a perfect example of he doesn't have to worry about points. Like he's not worrying about, is he going to be able to qualify for the Tour Championship? He knows that right now in the landscape of where disc golf is, he knows that if he plays 8 events, if he just plays 8 Elite Series events, he's going to get enough points in those 8 events to get him in the Tour Championship. So he can set his schedule in stone for the most part and be good with it. There are others like myself where, with how the Disc Golf Pro Tour works, where they drop different, your lowest tournament scores, right? So I think Elite or Silver Series, I think they only count 3, and I think there's either 5 or 6 events. So if you play all 6, they're only going to count your best 3 finishes. So if you play the first 3 Silver Series and you play really, really well, you just get like top 5, top 5, top 5, it probably doesn't make any sense for you to play the other 3 if all you care about is points. Now, obviously, if you care about trying to win a tournament, then sure, you can play in that. But if all you really care about is points, it probably makes more sense for you to take that week off, recover, work on other parts of your game, than continue to keep the grind going of being out on tour. That's where I'm like right now too, with how tournaments are set up too. It's a little crazy because I didn't realize how far away Tallahassee is from Champions Cup.
Yeah.
It's like it's a 6, I want to say it's like a 6 or 7 hour drive. And then the other thing is Champions Cup starts on Wednesday.
Yep.
So if you end up going to the Tallahassee Open, which is Sunday, let's say you actually play well. So your tee time's not until 2:00 on Sunday. You're done at 5. You're probably in your car driving at 6. You could theoretically drive throughout the night, get into Georgia, Monday night, early Monday morning, sleep, wake up, and now you have Monday and Tuesday. Monday you just came off of a tournament, and you just came off of a 7-hour drive. So whatever that means for your Monday practice. And then you have Tuesday to practice, and then boom, you're right into a major.
Yeah. It's not great scheduling.
That's tough. So that's where, to me, like initially I was like, I need to front load my tournament schedule, right? So that way I can play in these tournaments, and later in the year I can see like, okay, do I need, right now my lowest Silver Series points is like 12. Like if I go and get a top 10 at this Silver Series, I can get an extra 10 points. I can start doing that math later of whether or not I need to go to certain events. So I really wanted to front load. Do I want to play my first major this year with 2 days of practice, one of which will probably not be that great of practice, on a course that, from talking to people, is not a course you just show up and play. It's a course that
Yeah.
you definitely want rounds and
No,
rounds
for
and rounds.
sure.
So it's tough. It's tough because I'm probably tomorrow on whether I'm in or I'm out. And I think it's difficult because it is going to suck. It's like going to, it's like getting Lakers tickets for a game a month and a half from now, and you show up and LeBron decides that he's just not going to play that game. I think the NBA was going through this. Weren't they going through this
Yeah. That was
struggle at
that
one
was the
point?
example I brought up because that happened to me once. I forget which player. I want to say it was someone. Then we went to a Wizards game. They were whatever team it was playing the Wizards, and we showed up.
Michael Jordan.
No, Michael Jordan was on the Wizards, and he actually said it was like one of his last seasons. I got to watch him play, and he said that
Oh, sick.
the reason he refused to rest was because he knew that players were coming or people were coming. It was the only time they were going to get to watch him play, and he wanted to make sure he put on a show for them. And so that actually worked out well in my favor. But no, someone else was resting, and they were the whole reason I drove there. And they didn't say it until
Uh,
like they came out to warm up, and he's just in a suit. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like we drove 4 hours to this game." But like as an NBA player, or for you as a disc golfer, or any professional athlete, like there's just tournaments or games where you have to take time to rest, and especially like leading up the week before a major, especially a major at WR Jackson. Like I mean, honestly, I know points and stuff matter, but I think personally, if I were in your shoes, I'm going to WR Jackson the week before because that course I've played it multiple times. It's a course where you
yeah.
do want a ton of reps on because there's so many different spots you can land and so many different ways you can attack holes that you really got to get a good feel for it. And like it sucks timing wise, but I'm sure a lot of players are like, oh yeah, Tallahassee Open, I'll play it, and then they get closer and they're like, I really want to work on this part of my game, or I really want to do whatever, or I just want a few days to rest before the major, so I don't have to go play a tournament and then straight into practice for a major. I want to kind of take some time and chill. I don't really think I don't think a penalty of any type is the right answer because then it's going to discourage players from signing up for tournaments in the first place. Because if there's any type of tournament you're like, I don't know about, then you're just going to choose.
50-50.
Yeah, you're going to choose not to sign up. Whereas I think the
I
better
think there needs to be a
solution
deadline. There needs to be a deadline
of where
of
you drop
where,
by this date,
yeah, or if you
that would
don't,
work.
if you drop after that date, then you only get a portion of your money back. Is what they probably should do.
That would make sense because then you're not penalized on a like point scale like he was saying, but it still has some type of repercussion where you're discouraged too. But if you need to, you still
Yeah,
can.
if it was a $250 entry fee, then because here's the other I mean, I don't think we have a problem with that right now, but um yeah, that I'm not even gonna bring that up because I don't think that's a problem at all. But this is the only major. I didn't realize this. I just looked at the schedule. This is the only major that doesn't have an off week before.
Yeah,
All three other majors have off weeks before. So that is, another part of my head too, and this is what some other players I've talked to also have this same kind of concept is like if there was ever a time to win, because at the end of the year, when you say like I won a silver series, no one's really going to be like, yeah, but you won a silver series and X, Y, and Z weren't there.
yeah,
If there was ever a time to go and win a silver series, it's the Tallahassee Open
that's true.
because
That's true.
no one's going to be there,
Yeah, that's a very
you
valid
know?
point.
But it's like, do I want to, what would I rather have? Would I rather have a good finish at the first major of the year or a good finish at the Tallahassee Open? And I think that kind of is the question that boils down to whether or not I'm going to go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, it's definitely an interesting situation and probably one that we'll start to see more and more over the years because I'm sure players will start picking and choosing their schedules a bit more, like we've talked about in the past. But and part of it too is just a scheduling thing because if you had a week off in between, if it went Tallahassee Open week, then the major, the Tallahassee Open is going to be very well attended because players are getting that week off anyways. It's just that it's the week right before. Same reason when USDGC that week before USDGC, that's when we were thinking about running the Battle for Bedford. Just because timing wise, it was the only time that it fit where players were on the East Coast. We were trying to snipe a few players for like a B tier, and I was like, but no one's showing up to that. because the same thing. Like
Mm,
especially USDGC, you don't want to be playing a tournament and then be
no.
driving down, especially like 2 days, and then you're going. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So we decided to go after the Pro Tour Championship. So then there's no more major tournaments after that, and it still kind of fits into the flow of the schedule. But it was the same type of idea where the week before a major is kind of like sacred ground, where you unless a player is super comfortable on the majors course, if they feel like they have a chance at winning a major and they're not super comfortable on it, I mean, most players are choosing the major. But it is a great point of where, like, for you, it might make more sense to try to go out and win or come very close to winning a silver series, because then at the end of the year that can mean a ton points wise and getting into the finale, versus you take the
Hmm.
week off and you come in 25th or 20th at a major. That doesn't do anything for getting towards a finale, I don't think.
Yeah, there's no points for the Champions Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.